Used, and probably still am about the whole process. But as far as integrating within the cast and integrating into the show, it was great. You know, it was a fantastically welcoming environment. And you know, my first day with Chris Judge, I went, "We're going to get on Vine." I somehow found my soul brother in Chris Judge, which, if you know Chris, is a scary proposition. Just never go out with him. That's, you know. So it was, you know, it was. I think it was okay. You know, and I think the camera was different enough from Farscape, and I'll hand this over to Claudia Black.
I think I was really lucky because I did Prometheus Unbound, and it grew out of that. So they said, well, that worked, so let's see how we can make more out of that. So Rob Cooper called me, I think, and said, look, we really love what you guys did and we're not sure what's happening with the show. So if SG-1 doesn't continue, there's the possibility of doing some kind of spin-off, and we'd really love you to consider joining us for that and continuing what you created with Michael somehow. So that was, you know, we talked about that, and then they found out that they were being picked up again, and they said, well, would you come and just, oh no, and then Amanda was having her baby, so they said, while she's off, would you mind coming for 6 or so episodes and filling that vast gap of her character's absence and her absence on set, and just sort of throw Vala into the mix now. And she changed. She did. I certainly changed her from Prometheus Unbound. I just took her to a greater extreme because Rob said to me, "Do what you want." Basically, he said, which was awesome. So he said, you know, just keep going along that line. You can do whatever you want, and if we don't like it, we'll just cut it out. So. I thought, well, what worked was that I really irritated Daniel Jackson as Vala, so I'm just going to work on that for as long as they keep me. But she was just, yeah, she was the woman who was in denial of becoming a woman. She thought she was still a girl, and she was walking id, so she was just incredibly playful. That's how I allowed the character to develop, was what's the most playful choice I can make, basically, and the most annoying simultaneously.
This question is for Claudia. You got to wear a lot of really interesting and elaborate wardrobe pieces. What was your favorite, or do you have an interesting story about one?
I remember when the beautiful Christine Mooney called me and said, we're very excited to have you on the show. She was the costume designer. And she said, we're very excited to have you on the show, and I've got this great idea. You're going to be wearing black leather. And I said, haven't done that in about 4 months. Okay. And she said, no, wait until you see it. And I was just looking at it the other day. I found it when I was unpacking my office, and all the boxes that have been sitting there forever, and I found the original sketch, and I asked her to sign it for me, and it was the one with the stripes that crosses over, when she first arrives back at SG-1 and says, where's my Daniel? And
great one.
And I went up to Rob and I said to him, look, I have done the black leather thing for so long now, I really would love to branch out. I think this is an incredible outfit that they've given me as an entrance, and I'm hoping that this isn't what defines Vala. I love the idea of her being a Barbie doll, and so we went from there. And I just expected that I would get one costume for the season because I wasn't planning. I didn't know what the budget was like. And she said, "Oh God, of course you can wear this week, and then the next week you'll." And I mean, they literally got exhausted in the costume department because they got excited about the prospect of giving Vala all this new stuff. She was like a new toy for everyone. And Amanda would come in and say, man, it's so unfair. I've been wearing these fatigues for 8 years. So then they created that moment in the episode where Amanda's character took me out shopping, took Vala out shopping.
Family ties, yeah.
So we could finally see her in some regular clothes. But it was the bling that did it for me finally. It was just those little barrettes that were actually my own for the most part, where we would buy a couple here and there, and Brenda and I would, you know, pop them in because we thought it was so inappropriate in that context that, you know, Vala bringing a bit of bling to the SG-1 was, you know, her major contribution to army fashion.
Because when you're going undercover off-world, you need bling. Just lay low, don't get noticed, hide in the bushes. Bling!
Hi, boys.
This question is for Joe. In seasons 4 and 5, it seemed like Shepard was a bit darker, more serious, more weight of the world. And I wondered if that was a conscious choice on your part or the writers, and if it was, then why?
Remarkably true to life. No, it was a decision. I think that Joe and Paul took over the last 2 seasons, and I think they wrote a little bit darker. So I think that we ended up with something a little bit darker. When we started the show, I was trying to distinguish between SG-1 and Atlantis, and the only analogy I can come up with was like SG-1 is Superman, Atlantis is Batman. And I don't know that they liked that analogy. But I think toward the last 2 years we went dark, and they did some things that were pretty interesting. And I liked it. I thought it was a good choice. But I think it could have gone with a little bit of humor, always to counterbalance the darkness. And but I liked, like Vegas was a lot of fun to do, and I think it was pretty dark. We really had so many more storylines that could have been explored, so it's too bad. When you're doing these things, you don't know that it's the end. So it's not like that's the place you're trying to get to. You're just exploring things, and you hope that things evolved. And we were canceled. That's how that worked out. Water, I told you. Send water to the network. I'm totally serious.
This question is for Jason. What's the funniest thing you've ever done to somebody while on set?
So many kids right here.
Jason, you're on TV right now.
I don't know if I can tell him.
Turn off the camera.
I mean, we'll just do a PG version. I mean, no, that's not PG. I mean, I dry docked a lot of my, you know what dry docking is?
No.
Let me tell you. You go into your castmate's room, turn on that heater really high, turn off the water, you let that water go down in their toilet, and you're real hungover, you got something brewing in you. You go ahead and leave it in that toilet, with no water, and then you leave it, you shut that door and you let it just fester. Let the heat warm it up, and then you're just gonna go like that. That's all I got. That's dry docking it. Next question.
That was very educational.
By the way, that was not done to me.
Yeah, my question is for Paul and Rachel, and I was curious if you guys knew if there was ever going to be any future for Star-Crossed, everyone's favorite sci-fi soap from a documentary.
Well, I know that David is working on it, and I know that he's talked with the network about it, and I don't know. I mean, it looks positive, but thus far they haven't done anything to greenlight it. But it's still out there, and it's still in the works, and it's still very much a part of what David's hoping to pursue. And if he does it, I'm sure that both of us will be on it. We had a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was definitely a lot of fun to play. And I just wanted to thank Jason for that, by the way.
I know, right?
Appreciate that.